Welcome back to Derailed. I am your host, JJ Lahey. Jake says he is coming, having technical difficulties. But we don't have a ton of time tonight, so I'm not waiting for him. We're just going to get started. I see a bunch of you guys in the chat here. I did go meet Jake this past weekend. That was a blast. Talk about it once Jake is on. Welcome, everybody in the chat. This is weird. I don't think I've ever done like a solo live stream ever. I'm completely used to if I'm talking by myself to my camera, it's recording a video or a podcast that I can edit and put up live later. This is weird. I'm not used to this. Let's see. Adam Huddle says Dodgers in 4. Yeah, I'm gotta be honest. I'm rooting Brewers, Mariners. I think that would be super duper fun. Congrats to all the Brewers fans out there. I'd say the Brewers have always been, they're my national team. I'm like Orioles first, and I like the Guardians, but consistently Brewers have always been my national team. So I'm excited. Obviously, sorry to Tyler Dershel and any other Cubs fans we have in here, but I was pretty happy to see the Cubs go down. Tool for this says, hello. I must say, seeing the Packers in person at Lambeau is awesome, but Musgrave is worse with my own eyes. My condolences. Yeah. I don't know, man. Every year there's a couple of players we're just doomed to see out there week after week, and you just gotta suffer through it. This year, I feel like those players are not as bad as like sometimes the bad players are. Musgrave, notwithstanding. Even Matt Ostrich has been a lot better than normal. Let's see here. For this, I hope you guys had fun at the Illinois game. Guess I should save that until Jake gets in. Brewers been not winning, so that sucks. Well, a lot of ball game left. Let's see. Ed Policy. Tool for this says Ed Policy. I will say, let's see, tool for this. Is that the first time you guys have ever met? Yeah, first time we ever met in person. And it was a really good time. Chris says Go Brew Crew. Go Brew Crew. I did do my watch of the Packers Bengals game. I was a little harsh watching it live. I felt better watching the replay, largely because the offensive line did a lot better than I thought. The pass pro in particular stood out as a marked improvement over the last couple weeks. And like, I've been frustrated that we have not been doing much, in my opinion, to address O-line. Like, okay, we drafted Belton. He seemed like kind of a project coming out. We brought in Aaron Banks. I don't think anybody thought Aaron Banks was like a fantastic signing. I think I liked the signing of him more than most people, but that's still not a lot. And then I think that like with Zach Tom and Aaron Banks being out, I think we were all being exposed to like how bad it can get, put a lot more fear in us than it seems to put in the front office. I mean, they haven't even been working out offensive linemen. I still think that the depth is a significant problem. But Sean Ryan had himself a good day. Okay, that light flickers on and off. Elgton Jenkins with Aaron Banks and Sean Ryan next to him, I thought looked a lot better than how he has been looking. Now the run blocking, still leaves something to be desired, but the procedural errors were not as much of an issue. The Bengals were not generating any pressure on Jordan Love via Elgton Jenkins. So that's a huge step in the right direction. And the Packers always come out sluggish after a bye week, right? I think that this maybe really is a significant step in the right direction for the offense. Josh Jacobs is not running very well, and that's a problem. The offensive line not run blocking is a problem. But the Packers don't seem concerned about it. They seem to think that they're just working some stuff out. Fair enough. This is maybe the part of your schedule where you can do that. The passing game, though, I think is fantastic. We had a lot of concerns in the preseason about this wide receiver room, and there's something beeping in there. Here it is. That's the baby monitor beeping. Let me know there's a dead battery, which would be concerning. Except my wife is right next to the baby's room, so don't even need this on. We had significant concerns with the wide receiver room preseason, and I think they've looked fantastic. I keep hearing people talk about the fact that Christian Watson is coming back and like, oh, that's going to be a huge boost to the offense. Why would that be a huge boost to the offense? The passing game is working fine. We've got plenty of guys who can stretch the field. Like, happy for Christian that he's feeling well, but I don't think the offense needs him right now. I don't even think that it needs Jayden Reed right now, to be honest. If I could pick between the two, I think there's probably more of a need for Christian Watson than for Jayden Reed. You notice that the Packers were really trying to stretch out the Bengals defense vertically in this game, and it was working well. And I was also noticing they were doing the exact same thing to us. Like, holy crap. Those guys were always open for a quick, easy 8-yard gain underneath constantly. And stretching the defense will do that. So, getting Christian Watson back, if anything, probably just makes me feel better about the depth in that room, that we can afford to lose another guy and not be in trouble. But the pass game is really been good. On the defensive side, I did want to give a shout out. Warren Brinson stepping up. Nice day. Dershel, JJ, did you catch LaFleur and Halfley alluding that there may be a conditioning problem on defense? I did not listen to the press conferences, so no, I didn't. That is interesting, though. That is interesting. Now I'm gonna have to go listen to them. Dershel says late night derailed hits different. You know what else hits different? Late night redacted energy. This one is electric limeade flavor. I wish Jake would get in here because I want to tell some stories from the weekend. Drew says, can we sit Tom until he's actually healthy? Probably be best. He's been sitting a few weeks, though. He was by far the best offensive lineman out there for us. It wasn't close. He was the only guy who I thought looked good in run blocking. I know PFF gave Rasheed Walker a good run blocking grade. I thought he had I don't know. It was a step in the right direction from where he was after that Dallas game, but it was still not a good day for Rasheed. Thought he was getting his butt whipped a few different times by like a not that great Bengals D line. I don't know. It was disappointing. For this, my favorite redacted energy is summer shandy flavored. It's about time for Oktoberfest, though. But I'll never turn down a summer shandy. Drew said, I thought we improved in a lot of areas that people complained about. O-line and D-line, I think were the two areas where we improved that had been problematic. I think that, again, the running game, I still think was bad. And I liked the improvements that we saw from the D-line, but also it was against a horrendous Bengals O-line. That's one of the worst offensive lines in the league, certainly in pass pro. Their run blocking is a little better than their pass pro, but it was not good. Let's see here. I did want to take a look at what PFF said about the run defense. Yeah, they are singling out Javon Bullard and Edgerrin Cooper as being exceptional in run defense. I thought Coop looked fantastic. He had a couple of huge plays that he blew up behind the line of scrimmage. I thought, His vision was great. People have been complaining about him missing tackles. Wasn't seeing any of that at all in this game. Really solid. He did have PFF is crediting him with 6 tackles and 5 assists and no missed tackles. That seems a little bit high. I thought he only had 4 tackles, but who am I to take tackles with him? And they're also only crediting him with oh no, that's Colby. Yeah, they did give him 4 run stops. I remember 3. No, I only remember 2. The other one I was thinking of was Bullard. But that was an encouraging step for Coop for sure. Tool for this, Lukas Haversick. Yeah. Shout out to Lukas for coming in and delivering a banger game when we needed him. That was great. Kickoffs were great. But didn't miss any kicks. That is a clutch performance for a guy coming off the street. Hopefully that this earns him a place on a roster for somebody. Yeah, imagine being signed the day before the game and nailing every kick. What a stud. Appreciate you, Lukas. That's a few different Lukases we have on the team. And I like all of our Lukases. Got one guy who's not a full Lukas. He's only a partial Lukas, and so we don't need to count him. Nice hoodie, JJ. I think it's sweet. Almost got one. Yeah, so this is, let me see if I can get it in the frame here. So this has got the new retro alternate logo that they designed up for the season. My wife got this for me. It's a hockey style hoodie. I love it. It's a little too hot here for me to wear it consistently, but a nice chilly evening, and so I was able to put that on. Dorsal said Green Bay is undefeated when Tool for this is in attendance. They're also undefeated this year when they're scoring exactly 27 points. Isn't that weird? Scored more than that against Dallas and didn't get the win, but it is weird that 3 wins all had 27 points. Oh, Tool for this. You need to figure out what you did in that Jets game. Why did they lose? Again, if Jake can ever get his internet working so he can hop in here, I can tell you my story related to jinxes because it involves this past weekend and Jake, and it was a big story. But also the Packers are undefeated when I'm in attendance. Actually, all my teams are undefeated when I'm in attendance. I don't go to many games, but none of my teams have ever lost a game when I've been in attendance. Which makes it complex when I go to a neutral game and I have to decide who I want to root for. Actually, by that barometer, there was an Illinois game at Ann Arbor that I went to, and the Wolverines won that game. And I certainly was not rooting for them. I was certainly rooting for Illinois in that game. So, all right, I guess we'll only apply this jinx to the teams that I actually am a fan of. I guess I can't transfer that to just teams I'm rooting for on that day. Wait a minute. I highlighted the wrong one. You can't have more than 2 Aarons in the same building. This time it was just me and Banks. Oh, interesting. I don't understand. Are you saying that you never went to games where we had Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones? Or are you talking about Aaron Glenn? Tool for this, we need an Aaron head count. What's going on here? How do you figure that there's only 2 Aarons in the same building? And I think it's safe to say that you're assuming that there's any other possible Aarons in attendance as fans don't count. Let's see. I saw this comment here. Tool for this said a non-called holding problem. There's been a lot of complaining about the refs from like every fan base lately. And one of the weirder ones this week is the Lions. So my best friend is a Lions fan. I live around a lot of Lions fans, and I've had to hear about this Lions-Chiefs game and the touchdown they got called back a lot. What do you guys think about this? Because I'm curious about your take. As far as I can tell, the case that Lions fans are making is not it wasn't a penalty. It was you shouldn't have reviewed it. Now, I think the announcers are partially to blame because they're going on and on about how, oh, well, this is non-reviewable. It's a freaking scoring play. Every scoring play is reviewed. So your case is, oh, yes, we did commit a penalty. And yes, you do review every scoring play, but you shouldn't have reviewed this one. So my best friend was texting me. He said that his problem was that he thinks that the refs should have immediately known that it was a penalty and not needed New York to get involved. And because it took so long for New York to signal that there was a penalty, I don't know. Jake, nice of you to join us. Appreciate you. Oh, can you not hear me? I'll keep talking about the Lions while he's getting his audio figured out. I can hear your keyboard. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear your keyboard. 12 of this said Jake just stole the audio. Can you not hear me either? Never mind, it's back. 12 of this said, I never saw the play, and I don't know why I got called back. Okay, so the Lions run. I'm already getting kind of fuzzy on it. The Lions run a trick play where Jared Goff starts out under center, and then he kind of runs out on a little bubble screen, and there's a direct snap to the running back, and he throws it to Jared Goff, and then Jared runs into his own teammate, manages to bounce outside and not get tackled, and then gets a touchdown. And then it's called back because the quarterback gets flagged for illegal motion, and they're saying he never got set prior to the snap. And so Lions fans initially were like, well, hey, this is not fair because the players go in motion all the time. And as I'm looking at it, like the only argument I think you could possibly make for how it wouldn't be a penalty is that the running back is the quarterback on this play, but Jared Goff's under center. So I feel like that just cancels it out. Problematic. But Lions fans only like two things: winning and being victims. And so they get one of their two favorite outcomes. So I think this is good for everybody. 12 of this said, I don't think flags should be called after the fact. And that's what Lions fans are saying. They're saying, hey, you should either throw the flag like during the play or just don't throw the flag. And I'm saying it's a penalty. If you don't want them to examine every little ticky-tack part of a play, then just play regular football and don't run trick plays. Because if you're going to run trick plays and put stuff out there we've never seen before, they're going to look at every part of it and see if it's legal. That's where I stand. So anyways, there's that. What's going on with Jake? Jake, can you hear us? We can hear you. So the problem is I can't even communicate to him since he can't hear me. It's not like I'm just giving suggestions. I can hear you breathing, Jake. I'm just sad. Like I want Jake in here and can't have that. I'm running through every idea in my head. Like, do I call him on the phone? Then that way he can at least hear me. Let's see. Dershel says ref crew for Sunday is the Bears crew. Yuck. Two for this said the ref crew and the commentating crew will love seeing us in misery. I have been doing my best to watch as many games on mute as possible because the commentating is just getting worse and worse and worse, I feel. Actually, the crew we had for the Bengals game was not too bad. The Browns game was the one where they were just really obnoxious, just like openly rooting for the Browns to win. We're so distracted by the fact that Jake is trying to get in. Let's take a look back at defense and see who else should be given some praise. I thought Micah had another good day. I really thought with him not being with the team all summer, not knowing the playbook, not even being in football shape, I thought that it was going to be a really slow roll and take a while to get him playing at full speed. I obviously we thought that he was going to be used sparingly in the first few weeks, but like I kind of thought that would still be the case now. Mid-October they would still be ramping him up. Okay, he's got a back injury, hasn't practiced all summer. I thought that it was going to be more of a slow roll, and like he's out there like basically every snap at this point. I mean there's fewer than 10 plays on defense that he wasn't out there for in this game. Coverage. This is the big thing that everybody's been talking about after this game. Is that I think it's becoming clear to everybody watching at this point. These three cornerbacks are not good enough. And okay, if you want to couch that a bit with the fact that they were going up against Jamar Chase and the rest of the Bengals receiving core, T. Higgins, Yosavash, Gesicki, they're no slouches, sure. The Bengals are not the toughest passing game, especially with Joe Flacco out there, that you're going to face, especially when it gets to playoff time. When you get to playoff time, and I posted something on Twitter after the game about that I know it's early in the season, but there's just a long way to go for us to be a playoff team. And I saw people immediately getting upset about my wording of that because of the technicality of sure it means are you in the playoffs or out of the playoffs. I'm not talking about that. A playoff caliber team. You know what that looks like. A team that can go toe to toe with the best in the league and not get steamrolled over. This Packers team is struggling too much to defend the run and defend wide receivers at the same time. They have to be able to do both. And the pass rush is good, but the pass rush can't get home often enough because coverage can't hold up. And anytime you want to, you can just run it right up the gut because it's Warren, Brinson, and nobody. And we need Devontae Wyatt back immediately. We especially need him back fully healthy for the playoffs. I think if you have Wyatt, there's a good shot that this defense can make up for deficiencies in the coverage game, especially rotating the safeties in and out a bit. Hey, there you go.
Finally.
I'm so glad you're here, man. I'm so happy you're here. I wanted to tell all these stories from our weekend, and I couldn't because then I had to repeat it when you got in. We were talking about jinxes, and I wanted to talk about my jersey.
Oh, that's a good place to start, I think.
So this was a big thing. So, all right. And I've been talking for 25 minutes here, so I'm going to do more shutting up than usual so we can get your voice in the mix.
Sounds good.
Drew says, I sabotaged your equipment. I could have. Technically, it was possible because I was at your apartment. I got to see the famous...
It's true.
The famous Jake NFL draft recording studio, it was nice. I liked seeing it. It was nicer than mine.
It's not bad.
You got a super nice place. I had a blast looking at all of Jake's books. I wanted to steal a couple and stuff them in my bag, and I didn't because I want to keep having a co-host. But I thought about it. So I had this jersey, right? We went to Ohio State at Illinois. Jake is a Fighting Illini fan. I'm a Buckeye fan. We went there. I had a blast. I thought the crowd was absolutely fantastic. That was a great stadium. Illinois has done a masterful job of renovating a historic classic stadium and making it feel modern where it needs to feel modern and retaining the historic classic authenticity where that needs to be in place. It's a great stadium. Didn't get to see much of the concourse, but I've heard that that's good as well. Great stadium, super fun fans, raucous. They stayed till the very end. It was a blast. It was super loud. But I had this jersey that has been cursed. All right. So this is my uncle's jersey, and he died in 2021. And he died right before the Ohio State Michigan game. He's a huge Ohio State fan. This is a huge part of why I'm an Ohio State fan. So when he died, I go and I take this jersey from his closet. I'm like, I'm going to wear this for the Ohio State Michigan game. And I went to a Michigan bar because I live in Michigan, and that's where I watched the game. Of course, this is the first time then that Michigan beats Ohio State. Then they beat them 4 times in a row. And every time I wore that jersey, the Buckeyes would lose. Every single time. Didn't matter who the opponent was. I didn't wear this jersey very much because I became aware kind of early on that it was a cursed jersey. So I finally realized that what's going on is, of course, I jinxed the jersey. I wore a dead man's jersey to a Michigan bar for the Ohio State Michigan game. How could that not curse the jersey? So I realized, like I was telling you guys, every time I go see my team in person, they win. So I just had to go wear this jersey in person to a game, and that would purify and cleanse it. So we're all good now. The jersey is clean. I can now wear it. The gremlins have been cast out of it. So, and Jake got to be there for part of it, or for he got to be there for the experience of those social. So,
I did. It was a good time. It was a good time at the stadium. It's very cool to see Illinois be interesting and slightly good. Never got to experience that when I was at school.
They're very good.
Never got to experience it when I was at school. That was just not the case. I was one of the 130 fans sitting there through the entire game back in 2017 when Nick Bosa and company just pretty much had to show up and win. So that's I sat around in the rain, watched Iowa win 62-0 as my last home game as a student. Fant and Hawkinson just tearing us apart. So I've seen a lot of it. So it was really cool to last year against Michigan and then this year against Ohio State, see the especially the student section going nuts and being very full. And I hope that continues to be the case for them in the future.
We made a few friends at the game. There was a gal behind us who's very vocal.
Said some interesting things about the refs and things that Ohio State was doing with the refs. I was amazed how
much she knew. She's a very informed.
She's committed
person.
to the bit.
I'm going to tell you right now. I've watched a lot of football. I don't know anything about the personal lives of any referees anywhere. She was intimately familiar with the sexual preferences of all of these referees. It was crazy.
That's something.
I don't know who her sources are, but she knows a lot. She
knows something. She knows something. That's for sure.
So then we drove home and we were watching football on the drive home, and we go to Jake's house and we put the quadcast up on the TV. I think in total we watched like 7 football games that day, at least 6. We watched 6 football games that day. It was so much fun. And then the next morning, because it's a London game, there was football as soon as we woke up to watch on the drive to the airport. And if you're wondering what it sounded like, it sounded exactly like this podcast always does.
Pretty much.
I mean, that was literally a window into the weekend.
I have a recording kind of device I used to kind of bring and do interviews during when I was at school. I should have just set that thing down and hit record.
Yeah,
in the car.
We tried to do a live in-person podcast on Saturday night.
You never do those after eating Portillo's. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Can't do it.
There was no shot. The drive home somehow took hours longer than what Google Maps said it was going to.
So
by the time we got back to Jake's house, we were so wiped. We basically just stuffed our faces and then sat down in front of the quadcast and tried to keep our eyes open long enough to see what was going on in the games. I fell asleep twice, and then the second time I woke up, Jake was
out,
and I was
on
like,
a beanbag.
We got to just call it. It was only like 8 o'clock. I'm like, we got to go, man. This is
it was
9 o'clock. I don't know.
It was rough. It's a long day when you go down to those things. Even so for like Green Bay, you drive up to those. It's a long day. It's draining for sure. So, but it was a blast. It's really cool when number one comes to your house and you don't have to travel all the way to Oregon to see number one, like I did last year. I think
number one went to Oregon this past week. How about freaking Indiana taking it to the Ducks? I mean, that is wild.
Wow.
There is absolutely a case to be made for ranking Indiana number one in the country. You absolutely
I would agree.
Could do that with zero shame. There's 3 teams that have separated themselves from everybody, and then after that, I think you're kind of disingenuous if you don't still put Oregon at number 4.
Oregon's
and it's
still really good.
It's a long gap to the next best team. The AP poll this week was absolutely shameful. looking at that stupid AP poll and then the playoff brackets that were coming out.
Oh, man.
First of all, it was disgusting.
It's funny.
Who was it?
Classic.
Pete Nakos, maybe. Somebody put, because there's 8 at-large teams, right? No, 7 at-large teams. Is this right? 7? That's how the math works. 7 at-large teams plus the group of 5.
Yeah.
So he had 6 of his 7 at-large teams were SEC teams. And then he had 2 more as his first out.
Yeah.
Just incredible, terrible, awful slop. And Washington is unranked somehow, and Illinois is unranked somehow, and both of those are travesties. Absolutely ridiculous. You can't tell me that Washington and Ole Miss are that far apart. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Illinois was ranked in the coaches poll this week, I believe. I believe they were still in the coaches poll at 25.
Illinois took it to Ohio State better than any other team this year.
It is interesting.
They scored more points than any other team.
Yeah. They just put themselves in a hole early with the turnovers.
Dershel says SEC better hope the offensive juggernaut Iowa doesn't make the playoff. Amen, Braddock, because
they wouldn't have an answer.
As bad as Wisconsin is, there are some SEC teams that should not talk down to Wisconsin right now. Just put it that way.
Perhaps a blue one. Many are saying. Yeah, though it is wild to see people put playoff brackets together. Thank goodness it's not December yet, and we don't have to worry about that. But what did we talk about in the first 25-ish?
Yeah, the first half of the show was kind of doing a rundown on thoughts on the Bengals game.
Okay.
On my rewatch, Jake, I was more impressed with the offensive line than I was watching them live. I thought they actually did decent, and Elgton Jenkins kind of had his first good game of the season, which I was happy
That's
to
big.
see.
Need that.
And I still have huge complaints about the depth for this O line, but if this starting five can build some continuity and actually get some consistent playing time next to each other, I think that would be huge. Putting Elgton in the middle of Banks and Ryan every single week and letting those three guys work together and build that chemistry would do so much for this offensive line. And I see Chris is asking some questions in the chat about Wisconsin, and like, I love that topic. I would love to talk about the topic of why is Wisconsin bad. I feel bad that we're not doing more on Packers, but like, I kind of do want to shift and hit that right now. Are you okay with hitting that right now, or do you want to stay on the Packers for at least 2 more minutes?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that if you like.
So Chris says, why is Wisconsin so bad? They are spending less. This has been true for a while. They're spending less on football than anybody else. Their NIL game and even just, what their athletic department is budgeting toward stadium renovations and everything is less than anybody else. And like, you can talk about fire and fickle. The buyout is significant from a miserly penny pinching athletic department who has not pulled the cash together for NIL to boost their recruiting, to attack the transfer portal with any kind of a vengeance. There is certainly an identity mismatch, I think, between Fickle and Wisconsin, but I don't think that he's the biggest problem with Wisconsin. I think that the lack of top end talent coming into Wisconsin is a much bigger issue. Do we lose Jake or do we lose me? Can't tell. Jake? We lost one of us. I don't know which one of us it is. Dershel says they don't have as much NIL as other Big Ten teams. Chris says, is it related to the newish coach trying to change them from a ground and pound to an air raid type deal? I mean, okay, chat is saying that it was Jake who disappeared. Oh, and then he's gone. Well, this has been the live stream that just is like doomed. All right, like, we tried to do this a week ago and ended up having something come up. So then we tried to reschedule it for Saturday for the live show, and that got interrupted, and then we had to push it back today. Jake, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I got you 5x5. Wi-Fi is not great here.
Well, I'll let you talk while you're actually working.
Well, I think I mean, there's I pretty much heard your whole rant. I was going back and forth between the Shadow Realm there while you finished up, but I don't think there was anything much to add. As far as Wisconsin goes, it just doesn't seem like they're as bought in to this era as, and that goes for coaching and NIL, as other teams are, which is a shame. It would be a lot better if Wisconsin was one of those frisky middle of the pack teams in the big Northwestern Purdue area, which, if you haven't seen their schedule, it's rough going forward. Minnesota's their best chance to get a win down the stretch, really. So
yeah,
might be another rough one.
if they're going to pull that one out, it's going to have to be a matchup thing because I do think
Yeah.
that Minnesota is pretty good. There's some areas where I think that Wisconsin maybe matches up favorably against them, and obviously they're a common opponent, and so you have that. But I do think Minnesota is a halfway decent team.
Yeah, they are.
Jake, what if you turned your camera off so that way we at least
We'll
have
see.
your
This is
audio.
I got the Wi-Fi to work. I was on
Okay.
a hotspot previously.
Okay.
So the fact that it's not showing up as unstable or anything right now is probably a good sign.
Awesome.
We're
Awesome.
all right. So
your video is still freezing for us, but we can mostly
Okay.
hear you. We can hear you enough to chug forward.
sounds good.
So again, I did talk for 25 minutes about the Packers-Bengals game. I want to know if you had any thoughts you want to share with us on that, or if you wanted to turn your attention to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm just I a couple things that I noticed from this Bengals game is one, Golden, Kraft, and Jacobs are the trio. Golden is taking advantage of every touch he's going to get. Maybe he just continues to get the Reed touches even when Reed gets back. I think that's something to monitor. He's doing good work with those, the rushing attempts and his adjustment on a big play on the second to last drive of the game, last for Green Bay, was excellent. No notes. Do love the fact that he was he was juking guys in space. That happened to be Miles Murphy on that big reception, which I don't know if people
The
realized that
vaunted Miles
initially.
Murphy. He's so good.
It was kind of like, at first I was like, oh, nice, let's go. He shook the linebacker out of his shoes, and I'm like, oh, no, that's Miles Murphy. That's tough. That, and I think just
we did rewatch that play.
You did?
3
Okay.
times in
That's
my
excellent.
household.
Okay. Yeah, that was very funny. But yeah, Golden's got it. Kraft, whenever called upon, he's gonna bring it. And felt like Jacobs, obviously it's Cincinnati, so you'd love to see that, in a few weeks, more down the stretch, November, December, to see the running game do that. But the running game with Jacobs and Jordan Morgan making a couple key blocks at right guard.
The running game was doing even against Cincy.
Well, anyway, Jordan Morgan made a couple key blocks though at right guard, and if they're gonna stay with more zone, that's totally fine. It just does seem like when Wilson's the probability that's gonna be is around like 70-ish%. When Jacobs is in, the probability for zone is about 53%, something like that at this juncture. So it does seem like there's a little bit of a tell there. But if Morgan can handle himself out of the gap power stuff, that's going to be helpful for this team. But I'm still a little weary on that with where Jordan Morgan's going to end up playing. And then I think the last thing, just defensively, they have to have an answer for the quick passing game. I don't know what. And again, yeah, some of it this last week was, they're playing with the lead, they're playing soft, like that shouldn't be too surprising. But it does seem like, again, the Dallas game was kind of the eye opener of like, all right, well, if they're going to be able to carve you up in the quick passing game, you have to find a way to muddy up the short and intermediate windows any way you possibly can. I don't know if it's press looks. I don't know if it's, again, just getting linebackers involved in the line of scrimmage immediately and then having certain guys bail, others not, like they were doing last year a lot more. Like that seems to be the way to affect that passing game more so than kind of what they're doing of like, all right, let's just see if the D-line can get home and, we'll rally and tackle from there, which is like totally fine when you have a lead. But when you're in a back and forth battle, like with Dallas, it would be nice to see them have some other answers and deploy some other coverages to kind of handle that. Like, and again, yeah, Micah is getting tossed around, held, all that good stuff. And it's like, if he's going to do that, one, okay, fine. Other guys need to step up. And then two, like that coverage has to help out this pressure unit. Pressure unit was helping out the coverage unit early. It needs to be a trade-off, some of that. So I do think hopefully Hafley's got an adjustment for that going forward. These next two aren't going to be, I guess, maybe Pittsburgh a little bit. Pittsburgh's going to be interesting because I feel like there's a lot of quick passing game. That's Aaron Rodgers, dicing you up with the quick stuff and the low A-dot stuff and play actions, even low A-dot for them. So that's probably going to be their biggest test before they start to get to Philly and the division games. This week, Carolina, I don't expect to see a lot of resistance. We'll see. Spoiler alert, I will be front center this week to see Green Bay at Arizona. So that's going to be fun. We'll definitely be able to give some thoughts after that one. Seeing that, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll see. I think that's the biggest thing that I took away is really what defense they have to figure something out.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird after this Bengals game, feeling like the first two games of the season now feel like kind of the aberration, and that maybe the team that we saw in the Dallas game is maybe more representative of who they are at this point in the year.
Could be.
And to your point, the quick passing game has been killing them, and kind of against Dallas, we were seeing guys getting beat over the top. Against Cincinnati, you had guys open in the zone all day long.
Yeah.
It's been a marked shift here as the offense has I think kind of stayed mostly consistent, except for when we had all the backups out there for the offensive line. Like anytime you have most or all of your starters out there, the offense has been consistently good enough in the passing game and not quite good enough in the run game. And then it's like in those first two games, we just had this shutdown defense that gave the offense all day to just play around and do whatever they needed to do. You look at the Lions, Commanders, and Bengals games, the three games we won, we scored 27 points in all three of those. The offense was kind of about as good in all three of those. And then, the two games that we couldn't win, you had kind of just bizarro reversal games where, hey, for this Browns game, we're still going to get the elite version of the defense. And then against, with putting that ramshackle makeshift offensive line out there, couldn't get anything done at all on offense.
Yeah.
To then flip it around versus Dallas, and defense can't stop a running nose or even slow down Dallas. And it's like, hey, this offense, when called upon, is going to step up and put the team on its back because can't count on the defense or special teams for anything. So it's just been odd. And I think that this Bengals game was kind of like, felt like the most steady example of just stasis for this team since the season began, of just like, hey, maybe this is kind of who they are for right now. And I think that, we do see them being forced to bring the linebackers and the star in a little more on run defense with the defensive line depth issues that we've got going on right now. And if we had Devontae Wyatt back healthy, would we be able to not cheat the linebackers forward so much to be helping out the D tackles and lend them more toward covering up the leaky secondary that we have? I think that would go a long way. This is why we talked so much before the season started about the defensive tackle room not being deep enough, and that being a real problem. And it seems like that's bearing out.
Yeah, when Wyatt's not on the field, it's rough out there. Now Brinson had a nice game, good for him.
Very nice game.
Just want to see those stack together, right? The more they stack together, I think that'll ease kind of our concerns a little bit. Not fully, but a little bit regarding the D line. But when Wyatt gets back, it's going to be a major boost. And maybe we'll see that version of the defense again because, I think, JJ, you've kind of been pushing it pretty heavily of like why it's a crucial piece to this team. Perhaps, and especially obviously at defense, maybe the second, third most important player on defense. So when he returns, maybe you get back to that because of how important he is. But yeah, it could be just who they are right now. That's very possible. Who they are right now, that's probably fine considering the league we're in at this point. Like, number one team in the league right now, if you had to pick one, no. I think you could. I think a wide variety of answers could make sense at this juncture. Packers drafters was having a little fun chat about that.
It's like the SEC. It's like, oh man, like the NFL is the toughest league because look, everybody's good.
Yeah, it's true. Everybody but the Jets. But that's where I think it's I think both good to be critical of certain things. So like, okay, this is stuff we want to see, get better, get fixed as the season's going along, as we get ready for the postseason, and also go, there is still time for that to happen, right? This isn't need this tomorrow type of thing, with the team, because again, who's number one in the NFC even at this point? Tampa Bay, I guess, and they
gotta be. I mean, I
receiver,
still
their
think
secondary is a little scary.
Is decent and
without
Detroit
Warner,
decent.
No Warner and Stan Fran, you think they got enough? No Bosa. Those out for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, but they're about to start getting a lot healthier on offense, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. And
certainly
in this conference, the only other teams that I think you could, in good conscience, put in the mix at all would be Detroit, Green Bay, Philly, if that's what you like, and Tampa Bay. I mean, is Seattle for real? Are the Rams for real? Where are you on the Rams? Actually, I'm curious where you. I mean, because their offensive line has been concerning me a lot.
Yeah, that's their biggest problem is that.
And like other than that, like they do have a good defense. It's not as stout as Cleveland's, I would say. Well, I guess they're in the AFC. I think the Rams have not as good of a defense as the Lions or the Packers.
No,
but it's probably a little better than. It's probably significantly better than the Eagles. Seahawks and Giants have stout defenses, but I would say probably not as good as the Rams. Is Puka going to miss time?
Yeah.
So that we'll have to see how they can weather that.
That throws a wrench in things.
Their offense is running through that.
Devontae hasn't been great this year. There were a lot of drops this past week against the Ravens, and also I point to the Rams. I know they added Poona Ford. The Ravens were in that game. Henry didn't really have that many problems other than maybe at the goal line, that one goal line stand they had. Seemed like they were moving the ball pretty well, running the ball with Derrick Henry, and the Rams didn't really have an answer a lot of the time. I think the success rate was pretty good for Baltimore in that game. That would be concerning to me as well. So like the trenches being the main concern for the Rams, who already also kind of have a shoddy secondary. Like you saw what happened when they melted down against Philly. Like A.J. Brown just kind of took over and was like, I'm bigger, faster, stronger, better than you, period. And so like those three concerns, like Green Bay doesn't have all three of those concerns. Right? Philly doesn't have all three of those concerns, even though they're not playing up to par at all. Like, I still trust their secondary over LA's for sure. DeJean, Mitchell, are you kidding? And their O-line, while not fully healthy right now, still has, again, yes, are they going to be able to run it as well without, Dickerson and that on the interior? Their tackles are still good. Like, yeah, I would still probably trust Philly. Tampa Bay, same thing. Their D-line's a lot better. Maybe not better, a lot better than the Rams, but it's really good. Secondary's okay. They still have David running around there, which is still a good enough player that the Rams don't seem to have on the back seven. So yeah, I agree with that there. I just worry for San Francisco. I just worry that that no Warner is almost like you could survive without Bosa, as good as Bosa is, because you have Warner being the glue for that defense. Like no doubt the offense is going to get healthier, but they may just have to win shootouts going forward without a guy who just
has already been
takes
a
away so
liability
much
this season, though. Their defense has already been a liability this season. They have not been winning because of their defense this year. They've been winning because this ramshackle offense has been getting the job done.
And yeah, I mean, and then yet Vita Vea ate him for lunch a little bit of the interior last week. So when you have some more talented defenders that Trent Williams isn't lined up against all the time, that also creates some issues for you. Like and you mentioned Seattle. I mean,
yeah, I got three
number
teams
one,
I think are a house of cards.
Number one player in
Rams,
EPA CPOE
Seattle,
composite
and
right
Indy.
now is Darnold. Darnold is number one in EPA CPOE composite right now, which it certainly helps when you have the wide receiver 2, now probably wide receiver 1 in the league that Puka's down in JSN at the moment, who continues to just be outrageously good. But what happens when JSN starts getting that one double treatment now? Not saying he still can't produce in some of those moments, but like, where else do you go? You know, the running success has been as Walker should be better than he is right now. I don't know. Could Darnold turn into a pumpkin in the postseason again? Like, they do feel very house of cards.
Their offensive line has been really bad as well. They cannot. They can't. What they've been doing in the passing game, I don't think is sustainable because the offensive line is getting their butt whipped. Darnold's just getting the ball out accurately very quickly to where it hasn't mattered. But their offensive line has been I would say quite bad. I think their offensive line has been making me feel a lot better about Green Bay's offensive line, actually.
I was looking. I know somebody had. I was trying to find the pass pro and run blocking composite grades, and I can't seem to find them at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it's the Rams are worse, but in I think both categories.
Did you watch the Tampa game, the Seattle Tampa game?
Seattle Tampa, yeah.
That was the one with the fun uniforms.
Yes. Elite uni game.
I just thought that the Buccaneers D line was just having their way with the Seattle offensive line.
Yeah,
that game, like from beginning to end, it was just a nonstop all day butt whipping.
Which probably says something about their secondary then, because man, they got lit up on the back end of that defense.
Again, fantastic receivers, and Darnold is playing out of his mind. And Darnold did have a good year last year, so
he did.
It could be.
He went to the rehabilitation center
for him. Yeah, we need to send Anthony Richardson there next.
Yeah, Richardson's got to go to O'Connell next. Who else is going there? Will Levis, you did not qualify.
No, you got to be a quarterback.
You did not qualify. Somehow Carson Wentz qualified. I can't believe it.
Wait a minute. What year? I'm trying to think if Baker's time in LA overlapped with O'Connell. Were they there for 5 minutes together?
When was that Baker game? 22? Yeah.
I think it was 22.
It was 22. What year is this for O'Connell? That could be right. Let me check. While I'm checking this, all this to say, I mean, as we're going through other teams, like Green Bay can stack up at this juncture. Like, certainly. No, he was not there in 22.
Was it 21?
21.
Baker
his
was there in
last year.
21.
No,
Baker was
his
there in
last year.
21.
No, I don't think Baker was there.
Oh, O'Connell's last year was 21.
O'Connell's last year was 21. I'm looking at Baker now just to make sure.
Yeah, told that for this. Baker came in for like 1 or 2 games. It was amazing. Okay, so what was the guy's name? John something. So they had this
Wolford.
John Wolford, yeah. So John Wolford like broke his neck or
Uh-huh.
something in a game, and Baker came in. He had been signed that day to be the backup quarterback. Didn't know like any of the players, any of his new teammates at all, and he even had a conversation with his wife because she's not out in LA yet, and she's like trying to figure out flights and everything, and he's like, "Babe, I'm not even gonna get any playing time. Like, don't worry about trying to get out here in time for the game." And then of course, you know, he gets to play in this game. Just he's an absolute madman. Like, Baker Mayfield is one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks. I love watching this dude play. And so he gets put in the game, just shreds. He doesn't know the playbook at all, doesn't know any of the calls, doesn't know any of his teammates. But him and those wide receivers are just out there just slinging it and pull off the win. I was on my feet screaming. It was so much fun. This was when people were like completely out on Baker, like reclamation project, right? He had been how did he get to Carolina? Was he traded? I don't think he was traded. I think maybe he was traded. The Browns had Darnold and Baker on their roster at the same time. Jake, can you hear me? No, I guess he's not in here yet. He's phantom in here. I can't remember how he got to LA or got to Carolina, but he's in Carolina. It's bad. He and Darnold both can't do anything because Carolina is just the worst. Drew says he thinks he was traded. And like at this, like people are completely out on Baker. And I think that him going to LA and playing as well as he did there for the, you know, game and a half that he played maybe was a significant turning point for like what other teams thought about Baker. But I think much more than that, it was like the shot in the arm that he needed. Yeah, Drew says can trade for a conditional 5th. That's wild. That's wild. Number 1 overall pick resuscitates that dead, awful organization out of the grave, makes them fun to watch again. They try their hardest to ruin him and then run him out of town, trade him for a conditional 5th, and then now, you know, by the time he ends up in Tampa, he's playing like that number 1 overall pick again, like just one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just wild. But I do think that game and a half or whatever that he played in LA was the shot in the arm of confidence that he needed. Because like the Browns tried to ruin him, the Panthers tried to ruin him. And I think going through that gauntlet of 2 awful organizations, you could come out on the other side of that questioning whether you're really as good as you always thought you were.
Well, and the humility aspect of it too. Yeah. I mean, just kind of like, okay, you know, I was handed an opportunity in Cleveland. I certainly helped them there, but you know, maybe that wasn't my path. Maybe there's something I need to get better at. There's something I need to better myself. With to have that, you know, work into football. Like I feel like that level of humility probably also helped him a ton. And yeah, it is kind of wild to go back to that and think like just McVay kind of giving him a shot, building him up, and just kind of like that kind of springboarded him back. Like these Shanahan trees, man, they can really get you back up on your feet when you need to be. So,
oh, speaking of, I didn't think to ask you about this.
Yeah,
it's not the Shanahan. Yeah, it is a Shanahan. Mac Jones. Where are you on Mac Jones right now?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, is this another
should go back to Jacksonville?
reclamation project.
Should go play for Jacksonville again and be their QB.
They could definitely use him.
They need him. So,
what about Daniel Jones? Where are you on Daniel Jones?
Future pumpkin.
India a house of cards? I think
Yes,
Seattle,
yes.
Los Angeles, and Indy are all a house of cards each. All three of those teams. I don't believe it in one of those three teams.
I'm worried that Pittsburgh also is that, but I'm gonna choose to ignore. I'm gonna choose to ignore
Pittsburgh's defense is awful.
I'm gonna choose to ignore them. They're fine. Everything's good. They're great, except October 26th. So
Pittsburgh is not good at one thing except for rushing the passer,
which
they can't cover.
Can do that.
They can't run the ball. I mean, I know that they're 4-1, and I know Rodgers has had some nice looking ish stats.
It's going to be Chiefs Bills for the AFC title. I don't think we have to worry about it.
I don't think either one of those teams. I think the Chiefs are better than the Bills, but I don't know, man.
The Chiefs are, I believe, second in offensive DVOA now, and Rashee Rice comes back now, a more explosive version probably of Kelsey running around the middle of the field. They're a problem. They're a problem.
I'll tell you,
everybody should be gunning for them to try to eliminate them. So
here's a team that might make some noise in the AFC. Like after the Colts die off, after the Bills are exposed a little bit more, and after the Chiefs work their way to let's call it a 12-4 record. All right. What do they start at? 0-3? They're going to finish 12-4.
They were
maybe 11-5.
Actually, no, they never. They were 0-2. Got back to 2-2. Beat the Ravens. Did go to 2-3 after the Jacksonville game.
All right.
So they were 0-2 and 2-3.
Okay, so let's see here. Aspendale Farm. Did I miss to talk about Flacco? Browning was terrible week 5, and I said he's losing his job. They're going to get somebody else in for next week, and they did. Yeah, here's the thing about Flacco, by the way. Okay, so this marks the what was it? 4th? I had this stat cooked up for last week's Tuesday night stream, and now I've forgotten it. With Flacco getting traded, he was only the 4th QB in the modern era since the merger to do something, and it didn't even have anything to do with him playing the same team twice in the same season. What was it? What was the stat? Oh gosh, this is great podcasting. Well, forget it. Imagine there's a really cool stat that only Flacco has ever done.
Did not know that.
No, I know, man. It's great.
Wow, I was there, man.
Drew says Tampa Bay is 5-1, but they only plus 14 the point differential. They just squeak by everyone. Did it have to do with him getting the ball out quick? No, that's just called being old.
Time to throw, baby.
Thing. Hey, I like time to throw, so it's a
good work, man. Yeah, Tampa Bay. There is an element of Minnesota in 2022 to them a little bit, but I think they're a better team than that Minnesota team. I think they were in that category of like worst DVOA teams to start, a certain amount, like 4-1, 5-0, all of that. And they were like Minnesota, I think might have been the worst. From 22, there were some pretty rough teams on that all fell short in the playoffs. I think one got to the Super Bowl, and I'm trying to think. Atlanta '98. Atlanta was the team who got to the Super Bowl, and they definitely should not have been there. That was Minnesota's to take, but Minnesota sports, man. So yeah, Tampa Bay is weird in that regard, but I do think they're probably a better team. than that. But it is, again, it's kind of that wide open thing, like Detroit, sure, and Tampa and some of the Western teams, and like, Green Bay's right in the thick of things where they need to be at this point.
Yeah, Spindale Farm. It's something about starting on two different teams one season. It's something like that, but I am trying to find it. I don't know if I'm going to find it. It's ticking me off that I had this cooked up. He's one of 4 QBs to have done this thing. Maybe it's getting traded within the division.
Within the division while old?
This is ticking me off.
That might not that probably hasn't happened very much.
While old. Traded while old.
Yeah, traded while old.
Speaking about trades, what do you make about all this buzzing that's starting to come up about teams trying to trade for some Packers depth players? So Kingsley Enagbare, Romeo Doubs, not really depth, and also Wicks. Three players that we've heard about in the last 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
as having multiple teams call about them. We know the Steelers want Doubs. Sounds like the Steelers also want Wicks. 3 different teams, as far as we know, have called about Kingsley. I mean, is this just a case of, would you say San Francisco? Yeah, San Francisco is one of the teams calling about Kingsley. Is this just a case of like it's just getting reported more now,
Probably.
but it's usually this much chatter?
Yeah, I think there's that much chatter, and I just feel like, yeah, that's just being reported more because I feel like Green Bay shipping guys and like drawing interest is kind of like probably doing enough where, in the media where people, shock value. Oh my gosh, Green Bay's trading guys and they're 3-1. Like, what's going on? Like all of that. Kingsley could get traded. Doubs and Wicks aren't going anywhere.
I would be
that I would guess.
I mean, the thing is, like, Wicks is becoming an afterthought in this offense. I have probably said 100 times on this podcast, I have zero interest in trading Wicks because he's not worth anything to anybody. He's a lotto ticket. If he's gonna pop off for somebody, I want it to be us. We're not gonna get a wooden nickel for him. Right. We're gonna get a conditional 7th for this guy. I don't want that. I'd rather have he's not hurting anybody, just sitting on the roster. He can play some valuable reps for us.
Still playing.
We know he can turn it on occasionally. I want to be the team that is holding the rights to this player when he finally pops off at some point. Nobody out there is going to give us enough to make it worth, because they're not going to give us anything because he hasn't done anything so far for anybody. We're going to get a conditional 6th or a conditional 7th for him at best. It probably not even that. It's probably we're probably only getting offered like player for player trades. Yeah. Get out of here with whoever you're going to trade us for Wicks. I don't want anything that you're willing to give up
Nick
for
Herbig?
Wicks. No, I don't want anything. No. There's no team out there that is going to value Wicks enough to give up a player who's going to make an impact for us.
That was a joke, by the way. Steelers wouldn't trade Nick Herbig. He's going to get $20 million from somebody next year. I think I did find the stat, by the way. Edge 3. You did find it. Lovely.
Yeah. Okay. So he is the 4th quarterback since the AFL NFL merger in 1970 to be traded to a team in the same division. The previous 3 were Craig Morton was traded from the Cowboys to the Giants in 74. Drew Bledsoe was traded from the Patriots to the Bills in 02. And Donovan McNabb was traded from the Eagles to Washington in 2010. Right. And then
forgot about that one.
I have not and probably will not go check those guys' stats. But I would be pretty shocked if any of them then played a team that was not in that same division twice in the same year for different teams.
Probably not. More likely Morton than the others, since there were fewer teams.
Sure.
But yeah, probably. I doubt McNabb played. I think McNabb was even. That was, I think, even not even during the season. So, if I remember correctly, yeah. So like McNabb might not even been during, but I would guess Morton would be the most likely. Yeah, it is a strange deal to see someone traded within the division. Tomlin calling that out was very funny though.
What did Tomlin
see that? Tomlin was like, Tomlin was, yeah. I think they asked. I don't remember what they asked him. If it was like about Flacco or if it was, just about like the trade, because I know they play this week, right? Steelers Bengals is this week, so Flacco playing the Steelers again, which would have been kind of sick to see Flacco play the Steelers like 3 times this year as well, as Green Bay twice, but not good. We can't have everything we want. But he was asked about that, and he goes, "Yeah, it's just kind of strange, or something along the lines of, it's just kind of strange to me that a team would name this guy the opening, would be your opening day starter, and then you would trade him a few weeks later." It was something along those lines of like a definite call out on Cleveland Browns management and front office, which, listen, they already take enough punches, but it's very funny that it's coming from somebody who is in the league circle rather than the media treating him as a punching bag. So that I found that was kind of a rib tickler a little bit with Tomlin going, yeah, the Browns are dumb. They're really stupid. Like, what are they doing? So
I saw,
liked it.
To riff on the Browns even some more.
Do it.
Pardon my take. Put forth a question this week that I loved, which was, if you took the best players for the Jets and the best players for the Browns and put them all on one team, would that team be capable of putting together a record better than 500? And the whole question, here's the thing. This would that's the entire question. Like, this would be the meanest, nastiest defense ever.
Yeah.
Who is throwing the ball? Serious question. Which quarterback is throwing the ball?
Not Fields. Not Fields. It's going to be a Browns QB. No, it should be Taylor. It should be Tyrod Taylor. It's got to be who the QB is.
That's who I came up with as well.
Now it gets interesting. Maybe. Now it's possible for them to do it. So you get Wilson, Judy, got Fannin, and Njoku Taylor. I like that. O-line is probably Jets tackles and Cleveland's interior, which is fun.
Would you have Stefanski or Aaron Glenn coach this team?
Stefanski, probably. Well,
maybe you put Aaron Glenn as the DC.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, because if you get Aaron Glenn, you would get Engstrand, who I got to believe that he could run stuff with Taylor. But also Stefanski can run stuff with Taylor. And Schwartz has been fine too. I would probably take Stefanski and Schwartz. They've got more experience. I mean, that D line has, man, Garrett, Malik Collins, who's just excellent, Quinnen. God's sakes, yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
So the whole question
they could do it with Tyrod Taylor.
Could Tyrod Taylor do it?
I think so. I think he could. Nobody else could at QB. It was very funny to kind of, during the Jets Steelers game, put out a tweet of like, man, offense, because the offense was doing well against Pittsburgh, and it was I just kind of went off the cuff and went like, man, it's gonna be fun when the Jets draft a QB who can come into the system. And I got a few comments that were like, what do you mean Fields is the guy? I'm like, okay, sure he is. He is literally he doesn't know. He does not have a fast enough process. It just he does. He like I don't know if he like
football crew. This is the thing. The fantasy football people.
Unfortunately, I hate to compare Fields.
His fantasy stats are so good that the fantasy people will not let this die. Just like the talking heads on TV are never going to let Shedeur Sanders die, right? Because of Dion. The fantasy football people are never going to let Justin Fields die.
No, it's these running QBs who stink that are getting propped up. Unfortunately, there's a Cardinals guy, I think, looking to join that list as well.
Looking to join that list? You think he's not already there? He's been bad for a while.
He is on the cusp of, well, the problem is he's still putting together some good games, whereas like Fields has now refused completely. He has joined that list of people who refuse to play good games anymore, even as a runner. Like those two, if you look at the game he had against Denver, the game he had against Buffalo, my goodness. Kevin Clark put something together of like QBs who had QBs in this era who had like been sacked 7 times and had some fewer than some completions in a game. And there were four quarterbacks who met that criteria. Fields twice in Chicago, Fields on Sunday against Denver, and then Zach Wilson 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So the Jets have had all of those guys. It was something like that. You'll have to go look on his show from Sunday night into Monday. It was something along those lines. And it's like when do you salvage this thing?
How many angry Zach Wilson rants did you have to sit through from me? I mean, he was my favorite punching bag for a long time. I hated Zach Wilson.
There was nothing untrue about those rants. Still a terrible pick at 2.
I hated him in college. I didn't even think he was good in college.
Right, yeah, it was not a good pick at 2, and yeah, that's just how it goes. Jets. If the Jets have any self-respect, it's time to go to Tyrod Taylor, and see what you can salvage out of this thing, and try to get some semblance of culture back going into and some buy-in going into 2026. Because
maybe they could trade for Flacco.
Well, no, they're going to be picking first. They're going to pick Mendoza or Dante Moore, whoever they want at number 1. They will have that option.
Then why go with Taylor? Just stick. Look, listen, dance with who brung you. Okay,
you can win a game.
You got to go with Justin Fields.
Listen, 3 and 14 is probably still going to get 1. So,
Justin Fields almost got them a win in Week 1 against the Steelers.
He did almost get them a win, but only almost.
You're already playing with fire by continuing.
Only almost.
Even put him
only
out there.
Almost.
Listen, we only have 17 minutes left before we have to shut this down. We got a hard stop. I want to hit a couple questions in here and then save a little bit of time for nonsense because that's the best part of the show. So, Tool for this wants to know what kind of books were at your house. A lot of football books. And then some baseball books. I sat down Sunday morning and read a book for like 30 minutes or something, 35 minutes, about the unwritten rules of baseball. It was very interesting. And let's see what else. There was a book about writing iOS apps.
Yep.
And there's a lot of good stuff. I don't want to air all your library without even asking you, but those were the ones I feel.
Aaron Rodgers book club, Jake Schyvinck book club. We can maybe get that going.
We also had a very long discussion about Bible translations too.
Yes, yeah, and JJ's got me onto some fun books in paperback that I'm going to be probably ordering at some point soon, and he's probably going to go grab one right now. So, yeah. So a couple of fun conversations.
This came today.
One. Oh.
I was telling you. Oh, let's see if we can get the angle right. This came today. So this is...
which one is that?
For anybody who likes reading the Bible,
thick.
It is thick. It's super thick. This is just the book of Psalms, but it's broken out like an actual full book.
Oh, wow.
So...
I was gonna say, yeah,
but it's also got every other page is blank for journaling, so you can write your thoughts on each psalm as you read it.
Yes,
so I'm super looking forward to reading this. This is called the Illuminated. Let's see here.
That's what
it's got.
Gosh,
stupid camera, stupid green screen. It's got really nice illustrations, And it's got like you can do every book in the Bible, but I just started with Psalms. I'm gonna have a lot of fun reading this. This arrived this afternoon. I was super pumped for it. Whoops! Oh, I try not to throw it everywhere. Oh, it's bent the cover. Dang it! I set it on this little table here, and it whipped right off and landed.
That's like kind of what my phone's done on tables. So, that's
let's see. It's weird that the chat dried up because we still have. You can see there's a bajillion people still watching this live, but the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Chris wants to know: are we worried about playing Zach Tom and causing him to miss late season games? He said he had so much pain he blacked out. That's going to be a problem. He did say that. I mean,
it's probably the week to miss.
It's definitely the week to miss, and
this in Carolina.
I think that on this podcast we definitely lean more toward the side of caution with hurt players, and I sure as heck feel very gun shy after David Bakhtiari. Like, let's be judicious with these injuries to Hall of Fame trajectory players. All right, Zach Tom is probably the best offensive player on this roster. Let's not end his career prematurely.
Yeah.
How about let's make sure he's available for the playoffs? I think that probably the best teams in the NFL are in the NFC, but it's not super deep. Like, I think that you can drop a game or two here and still get into the playoffs. And I just don't care about playoff seeding enough to risk Zach Tom.
No.
Especially like Kennard was not half bad at right tackle. No. I would say that the merry-go-round of guards we've been playing is more damaging than putting Belton or Kennard at right tackle. I know you don't like Belton. A lot of my friends don't like Belton. I thought he played certainly well enough to not jeopardize Zach Tom's long-term health. I have no problem with surviving with Belton for a game or two or half a season if Zach Tom is not ready to go. Like, just be smart about it. Have the medical staff make reasonable
Philly.
It's and like
it's gonna be Philly.
Matt LaFleur is talking
Baltimore, like Denver. Like, those are it's gonna ramp up here in 3 weeks. Really gonna ramp up. Matt
LaFleur said that Zach Tom avoided a setback, and Zach Tom said, "Yeah, I was in so much pain in the second half, I blacked out."
Sounds like a setback to me.
I think that if my name is Ed Policy or Brian Gutekunst, I'm taking Matt LaFleur. And I'm going to the medical staff and saying, you guys, between your two parties, are going to give me an answer right now for what the heck happened here, or heads are rolling. Matt LaFleur has to give an answer for how the heck they make the decision to. And this is not even the first time it's happened this season with Zach Tom, that they put him out there and he wasn't ready and he's in massive discomfort. The heck is wrong with you guys? I get that the offensive line is an issue. Yeah, it is. So maybe you should bring some more bodies in. Maybe you should add to the guard depth. Maybe you shouldn't be rushing your best your right tackle who should be playing left tackle, or you shouldn't rush him out there.
Yeah.
You should do other things to fix the offensive line, because risking losing him for the rest of the year or more is not the answer to, hey, we're having some offensive line issues and it's causing us to, lose and tie games.
It wasn't even, it's funny because it's probably the second most interesting medical question of the week because of what happened last Thursday.
With the kicker?
With Jackson Dart in the medical tent, and Brian Dable shouting at the medical director on the sideline, and Cam Scadaboo going into the blue tent when Dart is in there, and the medical team having to push him out of the medical tent.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I didn't watch that game. That's wild.
Yeah, so Green Bay, yes, situation not dealing with it very well, and then you have the Giants. And it was surprising that like Dable didn't get fined or anything, because like he was laying into that guy. Like you didn't go fast enough with your team. You made me have to put Russell Wilson out there, which I don't want to do, by the way. And yeah, that was wild, a wild sequence.
Did you?
But yes,
Okay.
Other than that, Zach Tom, it would stink to not have him for the Pittsburgh game. For sure. But I'll happily take that L. If you lose that game, okay, whatever. You're gonna pick off Carolina and Arizona, and you're ready for Philly Monday night, November 10th. Like, if he's ready for that game, I don't care if there are some issues Sunday night against Pittsburgh in the next 3 games. Like, if that's the biggest issue,
you and I could put together a game plan to handle Pittsburgh without Zach Tom.
I think their D line's probably going to have their way, but I don't.
That's fine. You don't need to run the
I just
ball.
want him to be ready. I just want him to be ready for Philly, 5 division games, Denver, Baltimore. We need to be ready for those games. Period. So
I do think it's funny that
it's funny that I didn't mention the Giants in there, but they.
No, I was gonna say it's funny that you and I did this whole
deserve
podcast and both agreed that the Cardinals are not interesting enough to talk about, even though that we're playing them in 5 days.
Yeah, we do play them this week.
Defense is Will Johnson and nobody. I mean, they got Calais Campbell, but he's also 900 years old. They got Josh Sweat, but he's not good.
Kyler Murray, has he practiced?
Offensively, not a great offensive line.
Paris in Johnson, concussion
by
protocol.
By far the best offensive lineman they have. Best offensive skill player they have is Trey McBride. But Kyler Murray's probably not playing. It's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be DeMercado's what's the word I'm looking for? Begins with an R. Redemption game. Thank you. This is DeMercado's redemption game, probably.
Yeah.
Is this Marvin Harrison's breaking out party?
Not if he's still in concussion protocol by end of week.
What if he is not in concussion protocol anymore, but it's Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball to him? What then?
Uh-oh.
We're in trouble. Packers. Kryptonite is terrible journeyman backup quarterbacks. Actually, it doesn't have to be journeyman.
Might as well keep facing them.
They're
facing a journeyman here in Brissett. They're facing journeyman Aaron Rodgers next week, and probably facing soon-to-be journeyman Bryce Young after that. So it's like do you get the prequel to that? Don't know.
Watching you go all the way out on Bryce Young in Carolina has been so sad. I was never there with you when you were in on them, but it was like nice to see. It was a nice story.
Yeah, he needs to go to Minnesota, get rehabilitated in Minnesota.
I think he could. Like obviously,
maybe he could handle Jacksonville. Honestly. Might be able to handle
Nobody's ever been good at Jacksonville, though. Nobody.
That sounds like a very silly thing to say. That's like saying that's like the opposite of
like
the
saying,
he's due thing, which I'm not subscribing to.
No, listen. Nobody's been good.
Too.
Nobody's been good in Chicago. Nobody's been good in Cleveland except for Baker, and then they even eventually tried to ruin him. Nobody's been good for the Jets. Like, don't send a struggling quarterback to a terrible team. Like I
don't think it's a terrible team.
Like,
I actually think it's Lawrence's problem now. Lawrence is the problem. I don't think the organization is now.
They said that about the Browns and Baker before they shoved Baker out the door.
Okay. Since they're all the same.
I think they have more in common than they don't.
Okay.
Bryce Young throwing to Travis Hunter would be fun. If he can throw.
Well, Lawrence can't, so someone needs to throw to him.
Southern Turtle says Warren Brinson needs more snaps. He's going to get them. I mean, right now our defensive tackles are Warren Brinson and Colby Wooden. Rest in power,
Yeah.
Carl Brooks. You are missed. We love you. And you're 50.6 PFF grade. He had 2 pressures, which were hurries. He had no tackles, no assists. Kind of was just out there, mostly lined up in the B gap. That's about all you can say about what he did. Do you guys want me to go in more on that? I don't think you do. Stackhouse, maybe next year.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it's Warren Brinson and Colby Wooden, and those are your D tackles. And if Devontae Wyatt comes back someday, that would be nice.
It would.
Keep hearing rumblings that they are waiting to see if he's going to get any better, and they are moving toward putting him on IR. Keep hearing that. Hope that's not the case. That would be kind of terrible. But that would just push me more and more into the column of they need to actually go sign Christian Wilkins.
Yeah.
I've said it before. Clean out Rich Bisaccia's office. Turn it into a locker room for Christian Wilkins. Put him in there. Is Jeffrey Simmons out there right now? I thought he had a job.
He's obviously in Tennessee making a lot of money. But Tennessee assures everyone they're not trading him, that he is a pillar for the future of this franchise. So
yes, 900-year-old Jeffrey Simmons on a team with no head coach.
So we shall see him in Kansas City with Chris Jones in a few weeks.
Oh, he's only 28.
Yeah.
He's still got 2 more years left.
Yep. Means they can put Chris Jones at defensive end. No.
Would the Packers trade Kingsley for a defensive tackle? That could and maybe should happen. I'm not saying I want Kingsley out of here, but I would do it for a defensive tackle.
Who are they going to get, though?
Well, think about this. Kenny Clark got us Micah Parsons. So call up
There's a big elephant in the room there, though.
No.
In the form of two firsts.
No, shh. That
big
didn't.
Dog.
Fine, we can throw a conditional 7th in the next 2. Look, I'm just trying to find us like a second Colby Wooden. I'm just saying, like, can we have one more guy in that room?
I mean, it'd be nice. I'm trying to think of like who.
I'm trying to think which teams have a depth of defensive tackles that they could dip into.
It's not many. Ty Robinson,
what about
for Kingsley and Igbare?
I'm trying. Who Browns have? The Browns probably have a guy they could give up.
I mean, if they're gonna give up Malik Collins, I'm in. I don't think.
No. I'm like, what about? We couldn't pry away Shelby Harris, but maybe like Aiden Huntington.
Maybe.
What about?
Like
Okay, who else?
More likely to pry away Collins at his age. They probably want Huntington and Graham there for a long time.
Still trying to think who else.
Wicks
there.
For Malik Collins.
I was looking at the Rams. I don't want any of their defensive tackles. see. Washington. Washington has Eddie Goldman. It's kind of the only realistic candidate there. Did we lose you, Jake?
No, I'm here.
There's somebody out there. I wouldn't.
Probably.
Again, I wouldn't move Wicks, but I would. Oh, wait a minute. So the three teams who are calling about, I think Barry, we got the 49ers. Let's check out their defensive tackles. Who
They drafted two of them.
So they got. Oh man, it's gross.
Yeah,
It's gross.
it's not good.
Dieter Gross-Matos is by far the best.
And he's not even a true defensive
they have
tackle
there.
for the scheme.
He's really not.
So he would fit really well as
Yuck.
another Van Ness type big.
Dude, this
edge
defense
rusher
is
with
freaking
length.
awful. I don't want to look at that anymore.
Who else? Jacksonville inquire about Igbare. Who are the other teams? I thought it said.
Let's see.
Maybe it didn't. That's true. Can we get Scadaboo to play defensive tackle?
Can we get Scadaboo, period?
It'd be nice. I just want an explosive back as the number 2. But I wouldn't say no to Scadaboo and Jacobs beating people's face in for 4 quarters. Works for me.
I think I'm more interested, if we did move on from Enigbari, I'm more interested in adding draft picks to our room since we don't have our first for the next 2 years. But if we were going to bring in a player, I think it would 100% have to be one of these 3 positions, and I really wouldn't hear anything else. Interior offensive line, defensive tackle,
Saints,
or cornerback. Those are the only 3 positions I would be willing to consider.
Yeah. Malik Collins for Dontayvion Wicks.
Yeah. Well, good luck convincing somebody to offer us anything for Wicks.
Cleveland. Reed for Malik Collins. Cleveland Browns. How's that sound?
Reed. Wait, which Reed?
Jayden Reed for Malik Collins. Cleveland Browns.
Our yeah. Okay.
Yep.
We were talking about Wicks, and so I was just thinking.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's see.
I think as we're wrapping up though, we should at least put in official predictions for the Arizona game.
It looks like the other team that there's only 2. There's a third unnamed team, but the only 2 named teams who have called about Enigbari are the Niners and the Jags.
Okay, it was the Jags.
So the Jags,
Travis Hunter for Kingsley and Igbare.
Yeah. So the Jags have Mason
And a 2028 first. You can have a 2028 first too, Jacksonville. For free.
Mason
free
Smith,
of charge. Free of
Kalen
charge.
Saunders, Devon Hamilton. I would maybe Devon Hamilton maybe. Dwayne
That would be
Smoot,
interesting.
Austin Johnson, and Eric Armstead. They're not moving
Obviously,
on from Eric Armstead, but I would take
I'm
Devon
partial
Hamilton.
to Smoot. I'm partial to Smoot, of course. But Devon Hamilton sounds interesting just based on what we know he plays. And the role he could play as well.
I will tell you who does not like Smoot is PFF. These are some nasty, stinky
PFF
grades.
can shove it. He can shove it all the way to tomorrow.
So that's who they got.
Their grading
at
still
D-tackle.
baffles me sometimes, especially a linebacker. They got some weird things going on at that position.
They don't have any corners to speak of that we could go get. I mean, it's
Travis Hunter.
just added. No, I'm just saying, like, they don't have a surplus.
We'll give them Enigbare and Doubs for Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Might be the play.
Sounds good.
As far as guards,
You could have a 2030 first as well. That's fine.
They do have 2 centers who have played significant snaps well this year for Jacksonville. It's Robert Hainsey, of course, and then
Yes.
I've never heard of this dude. I played at USC, so I should have heard of him. Jonah Monheim,
Mannheim, yep.
2025 7th round pick, 23 years old. Played 3 games so far. 2. He's really just played. He played 2 snaps in week 1, 17 snaps in week 5, and 74 snaps in week 6, and has been fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't say no to that for I don't know what.
I'm not surprised Hainsey has done well. Came over with Cohen from Tampa.
Yeah.
Knew a lot of what was going on over there. Really easy transition for him.
Oh, you know who they have?
Just had to drive upstate a little.
You know who else they have in Jacksonville who plays guard?
No, but I know they got Brian Thomas. I wouldn't say no to that either.
They got
Brian Thomas.
Guard.
We can actually throw you the ball.
They have a guard there who was a 2021 6th round pick out of Wisconsin. Cole Van Lanen.
Oh no. No.
I would not do this.
No.
I would certainly not do this.
SOS. But you know.
You know what? All right, one crazy idea before we wrap up. I mean, really wild, crazy idea.
Picking the Cardinals.
James Franklin is out at Penn State. So it's time to go get our boy, Olivania Ioana.
You know it.
Listen, just transfer to the NFL.
Know it. Yep. Just call him up.
You don't need to finish out
right now.
Don't you need to finish it out? Speaking of transferring,
hold on. Who's Arizona Green Bay prediction?
Arizona keeps it annoyingly close.
What's the spread?
Because the Packers make a bunch of 3rd down mistakes, but the Packers still win. I'll say, let's see, what's the spread on that right now?
I'm looking. It's 6.5. That's what I see.
I'm gonna say Packers win, Cardinals cover.
Okay.
And I think that Cardinals fans
action.
watch this and feel like it wasn't that close, and Packers fans watch this and come away mad.
So the same as last week, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I buy that. 28-23. Sound good?
I think the Packers fans come away really mad that Jacoby Brissett looks as good as he does.
It's probably true. Again, it's just going to be about containing McBride, really. I feel like they have the
but that's
horses
like exactly what I don't want the Packers to have to do.
Like, if Harrison doesn't play, this is Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch. Like, yikes, man. Like, if you're out there getting cooked by those guys.
Here's the thing. The Packers have no business making this any kind of a game.
No.
This should be
35 to 14.
They've lost their last 4 games. Now, they've all been
35-14.
Also, the Cardinals cannot even slow down the run. Their run defense is atrocious. Like, this should be the get-right game for the Packers' run game.
Yeah, it's true.
What time is this game?
It's late.
But it's not prime time?
Window.
3:25?
Yes. Or 1:25.
You know what?
Out here.
You know what? Give me the Packers to actually show up.
Okay.
I'll say Packers win. I'll say they win by 7. So that's covering the spread.
That is covering. That will do it. Yes.
I'll say they'll win by 7. It's gonna be 27-20.
I'm gonna go 29-23. Sneak the cover in there. Silly penalty allows Green Bay to go for 2. once in this game because, as you mentioned, run D's bad. They just get to hand it off for Jacobs for a 2-pointer. Arizona will try to and succeed to backdoor cover in this one. That's what we're doing.
I'm actually adjusting my prediction by 1 point for both teams. 28-21. Instead of 27-20, I'm going 28-21.
All right.
I'm going to say we're not kicking any field goals in this game.
I think at one point in this game, it will be 8-8. I'm going to call that right now. It's going to be 8-8 in the game at one point on Sunday. Let's get weird.
What if they get there because one of the
weird.
teams has 4 safeties or 2 field goals and safety?
That'd be whack. If 4 safeties,
2 field goals and a safety.
Yeah, that could be. As I said, I'm gonna call that one. Green Bay's 8 is gonna be a penalty on Arizona in some fashion. That's going to let Green Bay run it in from the 1 on a 2-point conversion. Arizona TBD. However you want them to get there. Get creative with how Arizona gets to 8. But I think it'll be 8-8 at some point on Sunday.
Oh man,
you've done it again.
Do you think Packers fans should justify what?
Chris. Bruce got us with this week as well, and I was upset. Got us on Saturday.
Chris says final score 6-7. Yeah.
Hate that.
I mean, you're the one who wants to bring this up, man.
We got God again.
All right.
It's fine.
Should I put the picture up?
Yeah.
It's going to take me half a second to grab the picture. Here's the picture. And
Monsieur Ed.
No. I mean the picture with the picture of us.
Oh! I thought you were getting Monsieur Ed on the screen.
No. Monsieur Ed's been cooked up for a while. So this was us at the game.
I'm so upset.
We should have just at least switched spots so that our jersey number said 7-6.
That wouldn't have probably stopped anyone. To be honest, I'm sure people would be like, "Well, if you flip those." There was a kid who yelled it out of a car driving away as we were walking by.
Well, we were still walking in that position though. I was still walking on your left.
It was a tough scene. New Jersey incoming for me because of that. We're gonna get a Witherspoon customized one. So we have that, and nobody will get us ever again.
We spent a very long time on Saturday talking about what my next jersey is going to be. I mean, we probably talked about that for 20 minutes.
We did.
So
it's going to be great.
Hey, this is a nice picture, but I have an even nicer one. You want to see it?
I would love to. Let's do it.
Oh man!
Wow.
In the words.
Oh, you did the with the eyes.
I didn't mean to share this one. I need to delete this one.
Oh no. I forgot about this one.
Gosh, he's never going to come on our podcast now. Listen.
Probably not. Oh, man.
If you didn't watch the Matt Ramage stream, you're going to be very confused. Is there something wrong with Ed policy? Did he have a stroke?
That's why they tied is because you showed this photo. That's why.
Oh, gosh,
that's why it was a tie all those weeks ago. But
all right.
It's fine.
As disrespectful as this unintentionally was, put your hand over your heart, you patriot. In the words of the late, great Mr. Ed Policy, go Pack, go.